Hello everyone, my name is Kiera Cushway, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the creation of shiny applications in RStudio and their versatility and effectiveness as tools for conservation and outreach. First off, before I really get into things, if you are interested in checking out the shiny web application that we created, or following along as I describe some of its components, you can access it using this QR code or the URL listed beneath it, which should both take you right to our website. I'm sure some of you are probably wondering at this point what exactly shiny is. So to introduce you to this concept, if you aren't familiar with it already, RShiny is a web-based application that first came out in 2012 and can be created using RStudio software. There is a diverse assortment of topics that Shiny web applications may cover, and if you browse the gallery on the RShiny website, which can be accessed at the URL at the bottom of the page, you can find apps that are designed for any number of purposes, from education to real estate to even tracking COVID-19 cases globally. But in essence, the Shiny application allows users to interactively display and share data on the web in meaningful and functional ways that can contribute to data sharing and collaboration. So now that you know a little more about Shiny web applications, you're hopefully thinking that this sounds like a pretty exciting and useful tool. And you might be wondering, how do I make a Shiny app? Well, Shiny applications can be created using familiar coding processes in RStudio with the use of the Shiny package, which provides you with the functionality to create an application of your own. The initial code for a Shiny app is relatively simple and consists of two major components, a user interface object and a server function, which are passed to the Shiny app to create a functional web application. The user interface is the part of the application that users will interact with and holds all of the components of what the application will look like when it is created. The server, meanwhile, holds the information required to actually run the application and contains all of the necessary code to deal with inputs and outputs of data being supplied to the web application. Within the constraints of these two basic aspects of a Shiny application, a user can incorporate whatever data or packages that are required to create a product that is as simple or as complex as they would like, and that has a wide variety of functionalities and interactive capabilities. The power of Shiny as a tool for researchers and scientists lies in its versatility and ease of use and function. As a user or creator, you can tailor your Shiny app to whatever topics or functions you would like, making applications a powerful tool for data presentation and sharing. The use of RStudio for the creation of Shiny applications is an additional benefit for many of us in the research world, as R is a relatively common software that some, and perhaps many of us, are already familiar with. So if you have a basic familiarity with R software, it's relatively easy and simple to incorporate this knowledge and apply it to the creation of a Shiny app without needing to delve into additional web development skills that may either be more complex or at least more unfamiliar to some researchers. In addition, depending on the intended audience and scope of deployment you intend to implement, Shiny web applications can be a free way to share data, making them an attractive and fairly accessible tool for anyone who may want to use them as a means to convey knowledge. So now I'm going to focus in a bit and tell you a little more about our own Shiny web application. We created a Shiny app that interactively reports data from Unionid surveys that were conducted from 2018 to 2019 in the Kalamazoo River watershed in Michigan. The Kalamazoo watershed is a just over 5,000 square kilometer watershed on the west side of the state that drains into Lake Michigan. The Kalamazoo River has a history of pollution, including inputs of polychlorinated biphenyls, also known as PCBs, as well as one of the largest inland oil spills on record, which occurred in 2010. To conduct these surveys, researchers from Dr. Dalen Wolno's lab at Central Michigan University visited 122 different sites from 2018 to 2019 searching for unionids using time search, quadrat, or scuba time search methods. Our surveys found approximately 3,400 live unionids belonging to 22 different species, and if you'd like to hear about these surveys in more detail, I'd encourage you to watch Nathan Ring's presentation on physiological condition and spatial distribution of unionids and corbiculids co-occurring in a Laurentian Great Lakes watershed, as he goes into greater detail regarding what we found during the surveys and how they were conducted. The Shiny app we created was largely based off of design and code provided by Amanda Chambers from the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes, and Energy, which was initially used by Amanda to create a website detailing the results of similar unionid surveys conducted in the Chippewa and Pine River watersheds, also in Michigan. The Kalamazoo Shiny app has a very similar feel and look, but does have a few added functionalities intended to help users navigate and understand the data that we are presenting. This is a preview of the Shiny app we created, and you can see that on the left, there is a column where users can input a species that will subsequently be displayed on the map, or a drop-down menu where users can see the breakdown of the species and number of individuals found at a particular site on a generated graph. To the right, there is an interactive map with an adjustable zoom showing where our collection sites were located. Using the menu on the left, users can select a species, which will bring up only the sites on the map where that species was found, color-coded by abundance of the total species at the site. In addition, clicking on a site can tell you the site number, the survey methods used at the site, and the total number of live individuals of all species found at that site. Clicking on a particular site will also change the graph to the left so that it corresponds to the site you are viewing on the map. These are the main functions of the app, although there is some additional information listed below, including a map in the lower left corner that contains sites shown in brown where no live unionids were found, as well as some explanation of what our maps and graphs are showing, a link to our lab website, and information about funding sources. As you can see, our app has a fairly simple and straightforward layout, but it also has some interactive aspects that are both educational and kind of fun. There were a few small issues or caveats we ran into during our Shiny app creation that did pose small challenges for us. We initially had problems with the app not displaying properly when accessed from a mobile device, and sometimes users would get stuck on the map and not be able to access the rest of the website. We also dealt with some decisions regarding how accurate we wanted our site location data to be, as we were sometimes dealing with imperiled species and wanted to avoid the risk of exploitation. However, these were issues that were relatively simple to fix with small adjustments made to our code. In addition, although it is free to create and run Shiny apps, if your application is expected to receive more than 25 viewing hours per month, it is required that you pay to upgrade your Shiny app in order for it to continue working beyond this limit. And while the more premium packages are fairly reasonably priced, it can get expensive if you plan to have an application that is widely deployed and used, or if you would like certain specific functionalities or support associated with your app. Despite these small disadvantages, Shiny applications are still a very useful tool for researchers and can be fantastic options for stakeholder engagement and data sharing, providing a simple, interactive, and understandable way to share data that is much more interesting and comprehensible than long spreadsheets or more complicated graphs. Shiny apps can also be tailored to public outreach and can be a great tool to help get students or children interested in relevant conservation issues. Shiny apps can also be specifically used to promote knowledge of imperiled species like unionids and help spread awareness to individuals that may not have a strong scientific or ecological background by making data accessible and understandable. In the case of our Shiny app, we did make several calculated decisions about how to present our data, such as using common names rather than scientific names and trying to convey our information in an understandable fashion so that our website was functional as an outreach tool, both at community events and as a STEM education tool for local schools learning about science, data presentation, or graph reading. Overall, the goal of creating our Shiny app was to create a way to share our data and increase awareness about unionids in the Kalamazoo watershed so that we can foster that relationship between science and the community that is so important to effective conservation measures. Our Shiny app allows us to present our data in a public-friendly format that is fun and enjoyable, and we believe that it is an excellent tool for researchers and scientists hoping to increase engagement and data sharing to promote knowledge of imperiled organisms like unionids that are deeply in need of conservation. With that, I'd like to thank everyone who helped out with this project, including the 2018 and 2019 Woolno Labs for assistance with data collection and preparation, Joe Rathbun for helping with unionid surveys, Amanda Chambers for her assistance in building the Kalamazoo Shiny application, and the Kalamazoo Community Recreational Foundation and CMU Institute for Great Lakes Research for providing funding and support for our studies. If you have any questions or concerns or would like to learn more about our Shiny app, please reach out to me at the email listed below or to my advisor, Dr. Dalen Woolno. There are also a lot of great tutorials and information available out there about how to create a Shiny app and what you can do with Shiny, which I would be happy to connect you with if you reach out. With that, thanks for listening to my presentation, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.